Alright, we have Intrigue up here and no Swindler, so I'm immediately disappointed. Anyways, um, so my thoughts looking at the board were to build a kind of wishing well stack, and maybe I could play a bridge or a baron at the end of it. There is Shantytown for plus action, so maybe I could get multiple bridges in play. But as you will soon see, all these things are too ambitious for the wishing well to perform. So I open Ironworks Silver, angling for upgrade as soon as possible. If I could get the upgrade on the estates, I could get a lot of wishing wells. So I do pick up a wishing well off my ironworks and a shantytown. My opponent goes for the wishing well and bridge opening, which is fine. Probably better than what I opened. I'm not sure, but of all the games in the match that we played, this is the one. I don't know what this game descended into. Just chaos and madness. You'll see soon enough. So wishing well and bridge come out for my opponent. Wishing well on 2 and 4 is always guaranteed, which is a nice. You always get that lab out of it. And 5 I thought here would have been upgrade for my opponent, but they go for actually another ironworks and a shantytown. So maybe they want to push the wishing wells even harder than I want to push the wishing wells. I have this whole shantytown because it will draw cards at this point, and for how I want my deck to look like for a long time. It'll just be wishing wells and the upgrades and excuse me, and the ironworks. So the shantytown will draw. So I'm going to wish for copper here because I really want to get the upgrade. I don't want to have to use this ironworks for silver to get the money for the upgrade. Much rather just draw copper, and the deck agrees. So I get my first upgrade, which is a shuffle late, but at least I have it now. So I can get some wishing wells from these estates. So I believe yeah, my opponent actually is quite, not quite, he has an extra ironworks over me, not quite, a bit more ironworks. He has an extra ironworks over me. So I'm not really sure where he's going with that, because to me, well, for the deck I wanted to build, the only thing you want the ironworks for are the wishing. The only thing you want the ironworks for is the wishing wells. Once those are gone, I was planning to upgrade my ironworks into an upgrade or a duchy, whichever seemed best at the time. So here now, another upgrade for my opponent, so that's good for them. And a pawn. I was surprised to see the pawn. I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to buy pawns this game because it'll just make life more difficult for the wishing wells. But my opponent goes for the pawn alongside their upgrade. The bridge is putting in work for them, and there's another upgrade for my opponent. So they are probably gonna be thinner faster than I am. But yeah, as it turns out, that isn't really a big deal in this match. I thought it would be. I thought it would be because if you're thin, you're wishing wells. You want to reach a point where you can play a wishing well and guess wishing well because it is the most plentiful card in your deck. So the wishing wells are almost empty. There's one left, and I will pick it up here after upgrading this state into it. So I think the split is in my favor, 6-4. That's not great, honestly. You want 10 wishing wells, just like you want 10 advisors in your deck. You want 10 wishing wells. 6 is okay. It depends on what other cards you put in your deck, right? But here, I mean, I just overestimated wishing well. I thought it would do fabulous, wonderful things. Okay, I should be more clear, right? I thought the wishing wells would be able to consistently draw the deck for a long time. That is not the case. Wishing well doesn't draw that well in a lot of situations. It often needs help. By help, I mean maybe cartographer, for example, so you know what the top 2 cards is. The wishing well rarely becomes a power card when you guess correctly off of it. That's really where the strength of the card comes in. And to use it, you need to be alert to what cards you've seen and to what card you want to guess. It takes a bit of effort to make every single guess with your wishing well. Unless your deck is super consistent, then you have a fairly good idea of what you're getting. So I pick up a bridge. My opponent has 2 now and some extra shantytons. So maybe they're going for some bridge thing. I'm not sure. More pawns as well, more upgrades. So now piles are starting to look a bit thin. The wishing wells are empty. I will upgrade my estates into shantytown, so those will go down. And I don't mind picking up a few more actually. And the upgrades are at 4 upgrades. So yeah, they're starting to look thin, but it's nothing to be worried about at this point. None of us could do anything grand with upgrade tricks at this point, I believe. So here's the shantytown, and it probably is going to draw me cards. Yep, I have the bridge, but I haven't seen it yet. And yeah, I do see it here now. So what it allows me to do is pick up actually a couple upgrades, and I do go for it. Does it? No, it doesn't. Not a couple upgrades. Bridges, the 4 costs. My bad. Yeah, it allows me to pick up a couple of bridges. I think I go for the bridges, or I go for bridge and shantytown. So here at this point, the wishing well has drawn a few cards. It hasn't drawn the deck, right? It has drawn a few cards. I have 6 and 2 buys with a bridge in play. That's reasonable. But really, I overestimate the card wishing well. Yeah, I was saying before I stopped. Help from cartographer, from apothecary, from wandering minstrel, or from just being super consistent in your deck. Other than that, I mean, I don't see the wishing well, because this is not the first time I've gone for a wishing well stack and it has betrayed me. I say betrayed, right? Like I just expect it to behave differently to what it actually behaves, to how it actually behaves. So I get rid of the ironworks there, and I pick up an upgrade. My opponent also picked up an upgrade, so now I don't know, man. Like he also has more bridges, so there's 2 upgrades left and what 4 bridges, and he has a bunch of ironworks. So actually, he has a lot of end game control here, which is a little bit scary. So, and at this point, I pick up the gold because I realized what's going on. This wishing well thing isn't going to work. This was a failure of an experiment, and I'm just going to go and play money from this point on. So that's why I went for the gold. And actually here I was surprised my opponent was lowering the piles even more, picking up a shantytown and another shantytown, and again in a copper smith. That is probably the most surprising thing to me. Surely there's not enough coppers in your deck. Surely. You've been upgrading them. So here I do pick up a shantytown as well. I'm not really sure why. It isn't gonna draw cards. I don't know why. Our decks are so bad. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. The best card in my deck, I think, is gold. I think, not sure. So yeah, this debacle of a deck here, wishing well fiasco, continues, and my opponent actually upgrades an estate, I believe, and then buys back a couple with the plus buy from bridge. So he's starting to think about piles, obviously. Thinks the estates are the way to go. Maybe trying to pile them out. So I do get a couple bridges down here, but I can't really do much with it. I maybe could have picked up another ironworks there for endgame control, but I didn't want to touch any piles, not even pawns, because you can just scoop them up with ironworks. And pawn also gives plus buy, and he has some of those. So you could get a bridge down, and a pawn with plus buy. Maybe you could buy a lot of pawns at once, I don't know. So, right, this is my opponent's deck now, just a bunch of actions. I don't know what I'm saying, I apologize. So he has 3 here and he goes for a silver, not wanting to touch the action pile as well. Here I do have quite a bit of money and I'm trying to get up to province, which is why I'm wishing for the bridge. That's probably not the best thing to wish for. Maybe you should be wishing for stop guards, but luckily I am gonna find the bridge with the shantytown and pick up a province. So I'm ahead on the points right now. He's been trying to rush the estates in the meantime, but I'm ahead now, so he has to be cognizant of that. He does pick up more estates here to take the lead. Wait, so I wasn't ahead then. Never mind. I wasn't ahead. So he's trying to rush the estates. And now the estate is up. The estates are a pile, which is very thin. And here is where I go kinda I liquidate a lot of my assets here with the upgrade. So I turn one bridge into a duchy. I'm gonna turn another bridge into a duchy. And I am gonna turn, you guessed it, the last bridge into a duchy. That also allows me to draw with the shantytown, which is great. I tried to find the gold there to buy another duchy, but alas, I don't want to pick up the estates either, because in the same way he can upgrade bridges and coppersmiths and ironworks into duchies and maybe pile out on me. I don't know. So he actually has, this is a decent turn here after drawing with the ironworks. He has 4 and 3 buys, so he could finish the game, I think, here. Can he? I'm not sure. But even if he can, it won't be sufficient to overtake my lead. All that liquidation actually saved me. So he ends up just buying a duchy here and I think nothing else and just passing it over to me. So really now I actually want an ironworks because it would give me some endgame control. I'm ahead in the points right now. Maybe if I had one, I could look for a pile out. I do find my gold, and I knew it was the last card in my deck. Thinking about the shuffle here, of course, and I decided to go for it. I don't think I have any more 4 costs in my deck to upgrade, and that's actually a misplay there. I was going to upgrade one of these shantytowns into ironworks, and I should have done that before triggering the shuffle. So at least I had a chance of finding it. I mean, if not with the upgrade, then with the shantytown, I could at least gain an estate or something and search for a pile out. I mean, I don't have any more bridges though, so I don't know what I'm saying. So here, I'm actually surprised that I managed to find 5 wishing wells in my deck, which is becoming increasingly large, and there's actually silver on top of my deck, which I'm happy to see, because it allows me to pick up a duchy here. If my opponent picked up the last duchy, then he would have the points lead, and it could just pile the estates. So here I think I will get rid of this upgrade for another gold, but I think it is better to get rid of the copper just for some consistency. I mean, I do have the wishing wells and I would like them to draw, right? So the copper is like a singleton at this point, whereas the duchy is what, 4 or 5 of in the deck. Reasonable guess in some circumstances, as opposed to the estate. So here is a kind of desperation turn for my opponent. A lot of upgrades comes out. He manages to turn an ironworks into a duchy, and I think he's playing these upgrades blind here, because he's playing and then thinking for a while about what to do. I think he's searching for 4 costs to pick up the duchy. Picking up the duchy would put him in a nice position if he could find a plus buy, preferably through the bridge. After upgrading the duchy, he will win. So I think this is what he's going for, desperately looking for another 4 cost. Probably the coppersmith is most ideal for him to convert into the duchy and look for the win, but he doesn't get it and he has to end up trashing an estate even, which is not what he wants to be doing, of course. And at the end here, has to pass, which is kind of sad, but I mean, what can you do, right? Our decks were in actual shambles this game. It just, I don't know. I actually don't know what's the best thing to do on this board. Maybe bridge big money is the way to go. I don't know, but so then you let your opponent get 10 wishing wells and then destroy you with a saboteur, maybe? I don't know. It's hard to say. Anyways, I do find the ironworks, which is, again, that's very lucky. There were some turns in this game I feel like I just got so lucky for finding that ironworks was one of them to clear out the duchies, and I feel safe to push for a 3 pile here. I'm 6 points ahead. There's no way my opponent is getting province. Doesn't even have gold to do that. So I take the second last bridge, and I know I have this gold and the silver in the back. Probably will find them. Do find them. Pick up the last bridge and finish out the game. So that is how this match ends, 4-1 to me. This has been our wishing well fiasco. I do not encourage you to follow how I played in this game at all. In fact, this is a game more about don'ts than do's. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next round of the Monoset tournament.